So it's just one of those things, it's recorded that, and you've got your shift that, you know, if you are grooming, that, you know, it's documented. So it's one of those things, it may never come up, but if you ever need information,
Well, I could
there it is.
easily add because you get fuel and.
Oh yeah,
you
yeah.
know,
Like
need that down too, so.
I think I had an hour and a half one time because I ran out here, got the jerry cans around to town, filled them all up and ran out here and did some other little things. So yeah, it's just value for Eliza to show numbers, which is good. So yeah, always in the toolbox. This will be the side-by-side sled, and of course Dan has the quad one. So yeah, just always in here. If for some reason you misplace a key, I almost did. It was so the and yeah, so we've got spare keys in here. There's the spare. That. If you ever, whatever, say you're out here and somebody kind of goes, sends you an email, can you put the wood stove on in the place, right? So the day lodge keys here. Okay. The sled, which has been problematic in the past, it was $600 to get that thing in perfect shape. So it had a thorough going through. We don't use it a lot. That's going to be the coaches and organizers and whatnot. But simple things, you might need it if you're going to lay out the loppet signs, stuff like that. So it's here. And at some point in time, if it's not getting used a lot, and it won't, take it for a burnout on the lake.
I actually don't mind pulling with that thing at all. The only thing that's tough is when it's icy, you can't make some of the corners.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
other than that, I don't mind that thing at all.
Yeah. So go ahead and, I guess the main thing is go ahead and use it. And also with the other equipment, just go take a burn on the lake there and get it kind of cleaned out and that, because they're, as you know, they're always under load. That's the side by side. If you ever need to use the sled, of course the keys there. It fits on top of here. And yeah, it's pretty basic. Yeah, just. Yeah. If it doesn't start, sometimes this is the reason. I never turn those off, but yeah, and then your start is here. If it chirps in your, for the Ginsu, here's your actuators. If the quad, or if the sled is running, and it's chug, 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 kind of like the side-by-side. Dan gave me a shout and he said, what's going on with this thing? It's always to deal with the electronics. So this one here, it's a digital key, and inside that little cup, there's a star, and it actually floats. So it may not line up exactly, so it'll chirp. Or sorry, it'll run rough, and then you just quite literally slide it around, and then it'll have two beeps, beep beep, and then you know that, okay, it's got the connection. Yeah, like we said, the pencil hitch is just for the roller. The Ginsu will be here with the actuators. And sometimes if you get into a bind, mostly with the skate lane drags, like when I've been stuck with them, I've just had to take the bridle off of the actual skate lane piece, just because sometimes it gets wedged in there and you just can't do anything with that force. Just dismantle it and take it apart, and then away you go. With the Ginsu, I've been stuck on Lower Aspen. There's the deep gully. I've been stuck on that one evening twice, because you get some ice in there, and if you don't have enough snow, I think the Ginsus were supposed to be something like 400 pounds. You're trying to, yeah. One thing that would be interesting to do this year is just give that roller a try, because it's barely been used. I think one person used it eons ago and kind of went, nah. But if you want to try it, the pencil hitch, can put it on the sled, so it's ready to go.
Yeah, you'd have to have the right snow conditions.
Yeah,
If it was sticky, it would get bigger and bigger.
Yeah, if we get the 30 centimeter dump, right, where the Ginsus are no good, your choice for skate lane drag or this. I'd be interested in trying that out. So feel free to give that a whirl and feedback to kind of go, you know, yeah, it was -20 and we got 30 centimeter dump and it worked fine. Maybe it'll have more of a tendency to lightly pack it vertically versus drag and everything. I mean, the skate lane, they do it fine.
Is there any weight to it? Oh, it's got a drag behind it too.
Yeah,
Oh, no, it's light.
yeah, yeah. And really, like I said, it's kind of going to be knocking the air out of it and keeping it more in a vertical profile versus dragging it with the skate lane drag. So it'd be just interesting to give that a whirl and figure that out. With the side-by-side, I didn't know this for a little while, but just the mode switch there, up a little higher on the dash, I was looking at the mode toggle switch. When you first start it up and it says press mode to switch it into track set, it's this guy here. And then you'll get kind of like that dragonfly shape that shows on your screen in the upper left.
So where does this all, like I'm not familiar with it.
Okay.
Like, not, what's all this?
So Robert, her guy, he installed the rear camera.
Oh, okay.
So, and the camera sits up here on the outside. And you may have to adjust that a little bit because it's a little loose. He put in the rear lights.
Okay.
And those are, I always kind of miss out on those. Those are the headlights. Where? Oh, up here. So, but yeah, we can go through this more.
Yeah, sure.
And if try to use your seatbelt. It's just good practice, especially you got that little chunk on Caribou where it's easy to get the side-by-side off the slope there and the big steep hill. But if you don't have the seatbelt clipped in, it's gonna chug a lug and it won't let you go. So that's a big thing. And then it's always low gear. The sign here is if you must use low gear if total payload is greater than 500 pounds. So by the time you've got this, you're towing the Ginsu,
Yeah.
you're at low. And it's about, it depends, like 13, 15, 16, 17 kilometers an hour generally. Somewhere in there, depending on your snow and how much you're dragging. And yeah, I've just circled some of the be aware locations
Oh, okay.
on this little map here. Generally, it's going to be steeper hills. Yeah, this is really loud, so recommend wearing ear muffs, or I've got earplugs because the ear muffs will still vibrate. The earplugs are better. It's got good heat in it. You won't get an awful lot coming out at the windshield, but you'll get quite a bit coming out at the bottom here. And then you've got your modes here. You're locked in 4-wheel, and then just rear-wheel drive. And yeah, if this is all chattering, that's usually the problem. Sounds like the windshield is gonna break. Got a winch on it. And then your Ginsu switches are over here.
Okay, yeah.
I think black is for track set. I'd have to check that myself.
Yeah.
But yeah, as Dan mentioned, it's hard to see the Ginsu with the tailgate, but you just look for that little slight wobble, right? It just takes a little while to recognize that. Yeah, so there's your camera, Robert. Got ready for it. Your lights, it's really good. It's developed like a sixth sense with this. Yes, you could put side mirrors on it, have better view and everything else, but you're gonna whack trees and everything else, right? So it just becomes just that, yeah, like I said, the sixth sense. You realize you're this far away from the tree, your track sticks out a little bit more from your machine. But yeah, I guess the big thing is just communicate. If you come out and it's like, well, I got everything done, but I didn't set the track, or I only set tracking one side and you can't come back, just let people know. Always check your coolant level before you head out. There was a bunch of clips on the tubing system in there that were replaced, but we still ended up with a tablespoon of fluid underneath. And so it's just one thing to keep an eye on. Yeah, there's if you run out of coolant, Canadian Tire has the blue stuff.
Okay, and that's pre-mixed, like that.
It's pre-mixed,
Yeah.
pour it in. It's like $47 or something like that. It's expensive. But when Trailblazing Power saw the blue coolant in there, they thought somebody had put windshield washer fluid in there because they only sell the pink stuff, but they're not open past noon on Saturday. Twice I've needed coolant Saturday
And so they
afternoon or
didn't flush
Sunday.
it out, did they?
Pardon me?
Did they flush it out?
Yeah, they did the whole thing. They thought it was antifreeze or windshield washer fluid. So I was like, no.
There's another few $100, eh?
Yeah, so you will find some coolant leak under there. Robert Hergot, am I pronouncing
Yeah.
that? Okay. He's got the same side-by-side person, and he said his always leaks because when it gets really cold, your different plastics will contract at different rates. And there's a little, you wouldn't think about that this day and age with all our technology and thermoplastics and everything else, but yeah.
So here's your levels. Here it'll be, I think cold level is here. And then, yeah, I think it's the second line. Here's where you want to be at.
Okay.
I've come and I've had like quarter cup in that reservoir. It's just, because we lost a whole bunch. And sometimes you can smell it in the cap. You check. You don't have to check the oil because these are maintained at a lot higher rate than if you had it yourself. Because we want to know at the beginning of the year that it's not going to fail in January. We're going to lose the machine for 2 or 3 weeks. So yeah, the frequency of maintenance is a lot higher. About the only thing we should start looking at is just maybe taking a look at the oil. If we're really busy and running it hard all the time, what color is our oil? If it's like tar, then it might be a time to just do an oil change. That might be something where Ken Corkum might be able to help us out on. I'm not sure what's all involved in there. But just with our CD joints, they were all cracked after 5 years. Yeah, you kind of expect that. So it might be clean out as much around that as you can while the side-by-side is still generating heat, and just kind of knock some of that out. Different tools. Ken kind of bought a dead blow, so you're not denting the material as much. So yeah, that'll be Eric. That'll be the boots are going to be buried in here. It's just a problem area, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, just try to clean that up. That is the area to focus on here and over here. And the other one, just to make sure it's always cleaned out. This is where your belt is. So this is your belt housing. If you break a belt and this is all frozen, then you're going to be a while in getting that. So just those areas. As far as all this stuff in here, we haven't had any problems with it that I've known.
Well, it was close to the ground here last time Ken was using.
Okay.
Yeah, we had to fill a little bit to get it going.
Looking ahead at the weather, and I've done this I've just sort of changed in the last few years. It was going to be like +6 coming up. I wouldn't pack down the hill over here because you want to leave, it's open to the sun, you want to leave that insulating snow there, right? Instead of turning it into ice. So, and figure out who you're grooming for. If it's -26, you're going to get 20 centimeters of snow, and then you're going to go to -30. It's like, we're not going to get many people out at -30. So, you may just want to come out and pack. Yeah, so the Ginzus, one thing that's been mentioned this year is just the hiking trail here.
Yeah.
Just make sure that we put the Ginzus a little further down, leave that open, because the bike club, as you know, has their groomer here, so you don't want to impede.
What would they have?
Really doesn't matter where we park the Ginzus, but I kind of like to have them on this side, because you're always, on your return, you're always going on this side. The skate lane drags are just in around the little corner here where the aspen sticks out. So we placed them there. We don't have any weights because when we had all that snow, I just went and put 25 pounds on each of the 3 nose, so 75 pounds of weight. And that was good enough. We were dragging a whole bunch of snow.
So that, like, the Genzu doesn't have a track set or nothing?
It does, yeah. So, here's the actuator that Dan was talking about that apparently was doing the fuse blowing on the quad. But when you're in the Ginsu, you'll see that. That's about all you will see as far as when it's all the way down maximum.
So you've generally been like just going around without the track setter?
We'll do it. Depends on your snow. Generally, what you want to do is do everything at once.
Yeah.
Because Ken Johnson, and it was a good thing to say, and our equipment, some of the equipment manufacturers, like for the Ginsu, says if you have 10 centimeters of snow, you should. So that's kind of like what we go by.
So pack without track setting?
If you're in around the 10 centimeter, you can do both. But you should be on your trails.
Yeah.
The 10 centimeter to get it all packed in nicely.
Yeah, because most of the time I think there's doing both at the same time.
Yeah, exactly. And sometimes, like if you have 15 centimeters of snow, you can try to do this, but it just doesn't work.
Well, once I got this, I have everything.
Yeah, and then you can always extend the wing, so that's going to bring snow that's maybe outside a little bit, and then just funnel the snow in here. For your Ginsu, at the end of your shift there, keep it plugged in, and then you can use the actuator when you're hooking it up. Take it off the block, but you can use the teeth to raise and lower this when you're trying to put it on the quad instead of manhandling it, which I did for the first 3 years.
Yeah, for sure.
The teeth, they don't do a lot of carving. With the springs, they'll just fold out because they don't take a lot of pressure. Like this will be, you'll get a little bit chewed up with this, but if you're setting classic track, the first 10 skiers that go down, they've iced it up again. So, and we try to do it in pairs for sure. If that can work out, it doesn't always work out, which is fine. If you're comfortable with it, you can come out and go around. If you're at night, just give me a shout if you need a hand or anything like that. So I had to detach, turn around, and then go use the winch and bring it up the hill. But if you ever use the winch, we'll go over this some other time too, is put a stick on it in case the cable breaks, then that's going to take the energy out of it. That's what the Warren manufacturer, the winch, has in their instructions. Is just to put, so it could even be a jacket. Like it doesn't have to be much, right? And I've had them break I've had one quad one break and one work truck one break years ago, and it didn't do anything. It's not like a wild whipping cable or anything like that. So, yeah. Brad Culling welded on this post here. It's kind of like an indicator where your teeth are. Kind of hard to see. We did have a dowel in there that was painted red, but it kept sliding out. So something that we could work on. Not critical, but it is another tool to see where you are without getting out of the vehicle. But get out and check and see how your work's going. This is, I don't know if you remember, but this is sacrificial fiberglass rod. So if there's too much pressure from the actuator, this is going to crack, split. We've gone through 2. One of them was me. And I just looked back with the rear view camera. It's like, oh, how come I'm not setting classic track, right? So then I stopped, got out, took a look, and said, oh, okay. So there's a bunch of these spare rods at the far end of the bench by the shelving unit. I think just on the other side, there's a cardboard box. One thing that we should do
Actually, let's just do it now. We'll get some bungee straps, because once in a blue moon, this will flip down, and now you've got 2 wheel tracks on your trail. So depending which direction you go, you can slide your track setter along the rail here just by unloosening this. Generally we have it fairly close to the wheels like this, but it depends too, because as I said, we want the track set wide, but we don't want to push the classic skiers into the bush, because I've had it where my outside pole is breaking through 10 inches of snow, right? And that's aggravating. So we pack it wide. So yeah, just look at your work and see where you need to set this as wide as you can for the skate lane. But like I said, you don't want to push people into the trees and everything else. So it's a balance. What I generally try to do, there's so many different ways you can groom, but what I started doing with Conan was do all the interior trails and then do the outside last, so you have that continuous trail as much as possible going around the outside, and then it cleans up all your intersections as well. So yeah, for corners, like just kind of don't go around the corner when you're starting a new intersection, but kind of stop and then go around the corner and then start again. And then because that'll allow, before you get to that outside sweep, if it's just that, oh man, we need to do that pass again, then it's easy enough. You're not cutting up your classic set, because you've left this area blank, sort of deal. And yeah, it just allows you to go back and do things without messing up your track set. Kind of always make sure your fuel's topped up. Keep that going at the end of your shift, and just really just general stuff like the big steep hills. Don't put tracks on them. Fuel, and I just in the receipts here. I'll take a picture of your receipt.
Yeah,
And you can send that to Bruce and put the originals here. And Bruce is really good at getting e-transfers or whatever. Your reimbursement is really quick. So. Ken Corkum took on the maintenance of everything this year. So he took everything in, got it all serviced, so that was great. We bought some tools. So if there are any issues, just fire me or Ken a text and just let us know, here's the issue. If you can help out in some way, that would be great. You just don't, we're just not gonna dump everything on Ken, right? It's like, yeah, you gotta do this, go get the trailer, come back, do it again. If you got a truck and some time, then you could say, well, I can't help do this portion, but I can bring it back or something like that. So, yeah, any issues, just let us know and we'll keep them, keep the equipment going. So Ken bought a compressor, and he might do some maintenance in here with the compressor. There's some extra tools over there. More communication, and it's all been really minor in the past, right? Like somebody hasn't been able to complete it on a Saturday night. It's like, well, there's still a chance to Sunday to go out, and somebody might go, well, why didn't somebody let me know? Because I could have done it. And so just, yeah.